The title of this video is A Guided Journey into Oneness Consciousness. But first I'm going to talk about it. The essence of what is called Gyan Yoga is a path of self-reflection and self-inquiry and even direct awareness. Gyan is spelled either G-H-A-N-A or J-A-N-A. The A is not pronounced in Sanskrit, so it's more correctly pronounced Gyan or simply Yan. In the U.S., it's usually pronounced Yana or Jnana, and it relates to self-discovery, which is rooted in thousands of years of study on the nature of the self. The Bible, which most people in the Western world are familiar with, has a lot of valuable and inspiring lessons and teachings in it, and I've studied it extensively. But it doesn't go into the philosophy of the nature of the self in the way that some of the ancient documents from India do. There you're going to find some documents that are among the oldest documents ever recorded that we have today. And these writings contain the oldest continuing lineage of thought that has ever existed. And they certainly contain some of the deepest and most profound insights into the nature of reality and the self and God and all the spiritual realms. The Vedas are considered the oldest written scriptures ever discovered. They were written a long time ago, before the biblical books were written, and they were recorded by the rishis, who were the holy ones who lived somewhere between 5,000 and 8,000 years ago. And they're also the ones believed to be the originators of the study of Ayurveda, which is a health science. The Rig Veda is considered the oldest of all the writings that cover the study of the nature of the self, the nature of God, and the purpose of our existence. There are several Vedas compiled in what are called the Upanishads, and later the Vedanta, which means the sum of the Vedas, or the sum of wisdom of the ancient yogi writings. This led to what is called Advaita, which is transcending the known, entering into the realm of non-duality, which is the topic of this particular video. At its core, non-duality, which comes from the Sanskrit Advaita, means not two. It's the recognition that reality is fundamentally undivided, even though it appears to be divided to our senses. It points to the understanding of the apparent separation between the self and others. So in our physical realm, we see everything as a separate individual thing. You know, the camera, the desk, the car that you drive, the house that you live in, all the furnishings, everything's separate. All the people are separate. But it's actually considered to be an illusion. That's something created by the thinking mind, the analytical mind, which only operates through the five major senses. I should mention that this observation of oneness is found in all religions, but it is not always spoken of. For instance, in Christianity, Meister Eckhart, a 13th century Christian Dominican friar and theologian, was a mystic. And he taught that the Godhead is formless, nameless, absolute, beyond a personal God. Saint Teresa of Avila was a 16th century Spanish Catholic nun and also a mystic, as well as Saint John of the Cross, who is one of the greatest mystical theologians in all of Christian history. And there were other Christian contemplatives also. And they all describe a sense of separate self that completely dissolves into divine consciousness. And you're going to find that there is a similar language in the traditions of all the religions, but mostly they're not talked about in Western religion. Now you might wonder, what difference does all this make? You see, I always ask that question. What is the practical, tangible value to knowing this? Does it make any difference? What I see mostly in books and on the internet is that most people seem to be fascinated with learning new information. And I'm interested in that too. But I always come back to what difference can this make in my life? And in the case of non-duality, it makes some very big differences. And I'm going to list a few of them here. I think I'll just list 4 of them to give you an idea. So first of all, in non-duality, fear completely dissolves. Fear exists only for a separate self that believes it can be threatened, harmed, or annihilated. When you recognize yourself as infinite consciousness, what is there to fear? The fear automatically goes away when you reach that level of consciousness, which is around 600 on David Hawkins' scale of enlightenment, or his scale of consciousness, if you're familiar with his work. Secondly, there is liberation from pain. Of course, there might be physical painful sensations that might be experienced, but the mental suffering that comes from those sensations falls away. Suffering is created by the mind's story about pain, ruminating on the fear that it will continue and the judgment that it shouldn't be happening. In non-duality, these stories all go away. There are no stories. And what remains is observing the condition without the overlay of psychological suffering. The third big advantage to non-duality is the release from your personal history. In other words, the heavy stories from your past melt away. That includes all the wounds, the regrets, the mistakes, the rejections, betrayals, failures, and all those things that have shaped your sense of identity. They lose their grip. And if you followed my work for any length of time, from the beginning of my discovery, this has always been my emphasis. And one of the very first programs I ever recorded was called Let Go of the Past. And then I followed that up with another program called The Secret of Letting Go, which goes into surrender and how you can do that. So you disown or disidentify from your past. You recognize that these stories are just thoughts arising in the moment. They're simply memories. They're not what is happening now, obviously. So they actually have no substantial reality. And therefore, they are not who you are, despite the fact that you may have thought they were you in the past when those events happened. But they are not you. That's an important distinction to make, because that's called disidentification. And that process of disidentifying from these concepts or these memories of pain from the past are what enable you to transcend in consciousness and move into the higher frequencies. Now, number 4, perhaps the most significant of these in non-duality, is that you feel utterly complete, whole, and lacking nothing. The relentless seeking that has driven so much of your life simply stops. It ceases to be. And this is not because you finally acquired what you were seeking, but rather because you recognize that what you truly are has always been complete, has always been whole. It needs nothing to be fulfilled. So when you reach non-duality, there is a feeling of having found home, which by contrast, the peace you were seeking in your outer life through conditions and possessions and circumstances and relationships and accomplishments and experiences, they were never complete, fulfilling, or lasting. All right, so now how do you get to this state of oneness or non-duality? One of the primary ways of going about this is through what is called self-inquiry. And Ramana Maharshi from South India was one of the very first teachers to bring self-inquiry into the forefront of meditative practice in the late 1900s. He's the first one that Westerners became aware of. And he taught that there was a practice of inquiring into the nature of the self by asking questions such as, who am I? Now, to a Westerner that first hears that question doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and you might start defining yourself by what you do or what you have or what your career is. But when you keep asking the question, you keep getting deeper answers. Who am I is a way of coming to know the self. And this was a revolutionary idea back then. Not very many people had ever heard of this before, and it seemed a little strange for even the idea of asking questions like that. Another teacher of non-duality is Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. He wrote a book called I Am That. It's a deeply transcendental book, and it has profound wisdom, and it's one of the best books written on non-duality. The way the process of non-duality goes through self-inquiry leads you to know yourself and the nature of reality. And all you have to do is reflect on yourself. So if you want to know what you look like, you look at a reflection in the mirror. To understand your own nature, you simply reflect on yourself through inquiry. And this is a powerful approach to transcending the cognitive mental processes, the analytical process of the mind, always trying to figure things out and interpret things and define things and seeking solutions and always looking for something it thinks it doesn't have. So this inquiry actually helps you to transcend or to bypass the cognitive mental processes that enables you to delve into direct awareness of consciousness itself. It's a way of bending our stream of attention away from the mental activity of the mind and start to cause our attention to look at our own consciousness. All self-inquiry eventually leads to a state of consciousness that is beyond mental analysis or mental activity. And it goes even beyond beliefs or perspectives. It leads to a state in which there is a suspension of any sense of self. There is a sense that you, the one meditating, disappear. And this is called Samadhi, in which all that remains is an awareness of consciousness. And in that state, there is a profound understanding of everything, of all life, the total sense of being one with all existence. And no amount of thinking or analyzing can do this or prepare you for it. The opposite is actually the case. As you let go of the thinking, analytical mind and all of its workings and stories and trying and seeking, there's an automatic expansion of consciousness that takes place. True Samadhi creates an awakening in which there is a recognition that life prior to that opening and awakening was a life in deep sleep. You thought you were awake, you acted like you were awake, but actually you weren't. So there's a sense that everything that you were doing was actually just going through the motions of life without fully participating or even being aware of who you are or what was taking place. There are levels of Samadhi, but in deep Samadhi, there's a very peaceful, spacious vastness with no thought. There is consciousness and awareness, but no activity. It's an emptiness. It's full and complete. And there's a sense of not just being one with all existence, but actually being all existence. And this is why it is called non-duality. a state where there is no differentiation or sense of separateness. The Tibetans talk about 19 ways of nothingness. But in this case, and I think in many of the cases in which the Eastern writers give numbers, I think that they really mean a large number rather than a specific number. And there's certainly a great number of states of consciousness that are described and even named, and there can be hundreds and thousands of levels of consciousness and realms to explore. And all of this happens when you enter the different states of Samadhi. Well, in Samadhi, you experience a very deep peace and also oneness, until one day you have the ultimate experience from which you never fully return to what is regarded as the normal human state. This is an enlightened awakening in which there is a continuous state of being one with all there is. When this occurs, the emotional pain and psychological suffering that were experienced before melt away. Circumstances are no longer experienced in the same painful context that they once were. And for this reason, one is said to be liberated. You feel very light, you feel free, you feel expanded, you feel empty, and yet you feel at home. It's almost a paradox. Samadhis generally, but not always, accessed through meditation, and especially through self-inquiry, and what is called witnessing. Witnessing or observing all the mind functions. It's really becoming a neutral observer and stepping back from all of the stories and all of the perceptions. There's witnessing and observing the body, witnessing and observing the breath, observing and holding attention on the heart center with the intention of opening and deepening. There's observing and holding attention on the crown chakra with the intention of opening and expanding to higher consciousness. And each reveals more underlying reality and takes you to higher frequency and higher states of awareness. So this gives you the background of what non-duality is about. And now in the remainder of this session, I want to lead you through the inner spaces and bring you into the beautiful and deep connections of your own enlightened nature. So you should not continue while you're driving or doing anything else, because the rest of this video is a guided meditation. So once you are ready, and you've arranged yourself in a place where you won't be disturbed, close your eyes and begin with a deep breath in through your nose and let it gently out through your mouth. And let your attention come to your body and feel the sensations of gravity pulling you down. And also notice your clothing resting against your skin. And notice your abdomen moving up and down with each breath. And as you notice these things, also notice that you can let go more with each exhalation. Allow the sensations around you to soften. And tune into your inner space and feel and expand the softness and open to deeper levels of soft, safe presence. Each breath relaxing and softening more and more. No holding anywhere. Trusting the process. trusting the soft soul presence. This is a good time to let go of the past and any thoughts of the future, so you can just be fully present with me in the here and now, in this present moment. Take a gentle breath in now, and as you release the breath, give yourself permission to go even deeper into relaxation. For thousands of years across forgotten temples and silent mountain paths, seekers have spoken of a single extraordinary truth, a truth that lies beneath all the noise of the world, beneath your thoughts, beneath your name, and even beneath the ideas of who you are. They called it non-duality, the recognition that at the deepest level there is no separation, no division, no distance. There is only one infinite field of consciousness. You may have sensed in rare moments, brief instants perhaps, when the world seems still and something within you remembers. Today I want to invite you into more than a moment. I want to invite you to a shift, a soft dissolving of the boundaries that keep you feeling small and alone or disconnected. And in this journey, you are going to learn what non-duality actually means, not just as an idea, but a living, breathing experience. And as we move forward together, I will guide you into a meditation designed to open the door to Samadhi, a spacious, peaceful, boundless awareness. It has always been here with you, actually within you. So as you settle in more, allow your body to soften, let your mind quiet, and just allow your soul to emerge as we enter this sacred space of remembrance. For you are being called to wake from a dream and to recall who you are, what you are, and understand your life. You have come to a pivotal point in the evolution of your consciousness, where you are ready to remember more fully who and what you are. So acknowledge the part of you that senses it is ready to evolve further, and it wants to awaken even more. And to help you awaken, you're going to ask yourself some questions about yourself. And knowing that sometimes mental activity creates analysis and judgments and even conflicts, but what if you realize that you are not the body and not the mind? Just let yourself wonder who you are without a body. Can you imagine it? And can you even experience empty space where there are no thoughts? If you are not the body and not the thoughts, then who are you? Could it be that you are consciousness and awareness beyond a physical experience? Say the following words to yourself and notice what you sense. I am love and light divine. This body is but a dream of mine. I am love and light divine. This body is but a dream of mine. Since you are a conscious, aware being in a body, but not the body or the analytical mind, realize that who you are exists beyond the thinking mind. So you can ask yourself, what is left when you let go of what the mind thinks you are? Sense yourself in a state of awareness where you are just feeling what is present with you. And follow the words that I'm going to give you. Say them to yourself with me, and say them in your mind. I am not my body, and I am not my mind. I am the consciousness expressing through this body. I am the consciousness flowing through this body, causing this body and mind to operate. I am what is observing the body and mind. Some refer to this observer as I am that I am, or universal mind, or divine presence, or the source, or the absolute. And in this process, you are not trying to make anything happen. In fact, you're not trying at all. You are mostly observing yourself, observing thoughts and feelings, and realizing I am not this or that. Who are you without thoughts or feelings? Take a gentle breath in now, and as you release the breath, feel yourself letting go a little more and allowing peace and quietness to take over. Be conscious of your own consciousness beyond your own thinking mind into peaceful awareness. Now, in this peacefulness, you'll notice there is a part of you emerging that wants to know who you are. What is it that has drawn you to a spiritual path? What is it in you that causes you to inquire? In other words, why do you want to know? These questions alone can trigger an awakening of an awareness of a deep truth that lies at the core of your soul. And sometimes as you hear the words and the inquiries, and you connect with the consciousness behind the words, there is an elation at the prospect of discovering the truth and a feeling of coming home. Be conscious of a part of you that is curious and seeks ways to become conscious and aware. There is something in you that causes you to want to know who you are, why you are here, where you are going. Be aware of the fact there is a consciousness in you evolving you. And just relax and smile within. If you go through your life and never look or inquire and wonder about the source of your own consciousness and who you are, you won't discover very much about that. The very fact that you are inquiring is indicative of the fact that you have evolved to a much higher degree than if you had never inquired. And as you continue inquiring, you will continue to evolve in an eternal process or vertical evolution and enlightenment. And you do this by exploring the depths of surrendering, because this is how you discover your next level of awakening and enlightenment. You participate by allowing the divine source that is guiding and compelling you to seek to surrender any doubt or resistance to take you to the next level awaiting you. Any engagement of the mind to analyze or control the process of your evolution blocks you from moving to higher frequencies of awareness. So just for this meditation, there's no need to think or analyze. Just allow your attention to move deeper into the infinite space of peacefulness that is emerging more and more all around you. And notice the feelings of lightness and peacefulness. And perhaps you may also notice something like an expansion and a lightness of being that emerges as you feel the presence of divine consciousness within you. And just enjoy the feelings. Enjoy the sensations of your inner divine presence. These are the sensations of your own soul expressing through you. Let yourself go into the sensations as you merge yourself into the frequencies of the soul and the light of the soul that is emerging. The key ingredient is not the understanding of the information. Rather, it's your opening of your heart and awareness, allowing yourself to sense love, receive love, be love. And that love is the presence of consciousness itself. The vastness of your inner reality and the truth of your very being. When you connect with the source of all, you feel peace and love. And there is a coziness about it, a sense of being surrounded and embraced with it. And as you put your attention on it and follow it or track it, you may sense it as an expanding light and a deepening peacefulness. Just open to receive a deepening awareness, expanding consciousness, and notice the calmness and feel the stillness. Feel yourself opening and expanding. Feel the presence filling your body as your light from your soul extends 2 feet from your body all around you. And then out to 3 feet all around you. And it continues expanding out to 6 feet all around you, growing in brightness and expanding in radiance. Bring your breath into your heart center and feel your heart open a little more with each breath. And as you breathe out, feel the light and the energy and awareness of your heart expanding out now 12 feet all around your body. Notice and feel and be aware of this space all around you. Breathe into your heart, and as you exhale, feel the light spreading through the room all around you. You can sense and feel the light and the presence filling the whole room. And you can declare to yourself that you are going to open even more. Hold the intention that you're going to expand and awaken and recalibrate to a higher level of awareness and allow in more light and more of the soul presence. The part of you that is aware of itself is the real you. The part of you that can feel the depth of the meaning of these words is your soul. It is already in enlightened unity consciousness. You have only to wake up more fully to it. The personality that you think you are operates through your brain and mind, and that is going to merge into the soul. This is called soul merging, and it is a path to enlightenment. You could notice there is a difference between the outer you and the inner you, the one that struggles and the one that is at peace. So invite the peaceful inner you to merge with the outer you that is operating through the senses. Gently allow your mind and body to become accustomed to this presence so you can become familiar with it and come back to it at will. And take a moment to observe the sensations. Perhaps a floating sensation or vibrations, an emptiness, a dynamic stillness, the peaceful consciousness of presence. And acknowledge there is a part of you ready to transform and fully awaken to its highest potential. And it's ready to feel the presence and be guided. It's that part of you that is inquisitive. It seeks. It is curious. Get in touch with the part of you that is looking to evolve you. What is it seeking? There is a part of you that would like to evolve itself to its highest potential and uncover and realize the truth of its own being. Another way to say that is it would like to awaken from the diversions of the mind in order to experience the purity of its own nature. And this is what enlightenment is. You and your mind are awakening to the fact that there is something other than it that you are. You are the spirit that was there before the body existed. And that spirit is sustaining your life and reflecting on these words. And it's also observing what you are experiencing. Ask to receive the full awareness of that. Now follow and repeat these words to yourself. I acknowledge that who and what I am is something other than what I have thought. I ask the fullness of my core enlightened soul to merge into my awareness completely all through me. Now just listen. Enjoy the feelings as you expand your awareness and your heart space. Let your heart open to the full radiant expression of your divine nature. Give yourself permission for this to happen. Allow your heart to open and for the full presence of divine light to fill it. There is a peacefulness flowing through you. moving into and through your body. Feel the peace in your consciousness. It brings a higher vibrational dimension that dissolves all the stuck and blocked patterns. It dissolves them. And as that presence awakens through you, it brings a divine intelligence that emerges through every cell and atom within you, dissolving traces of degeneration or any contrary conditions that might cause the body not to be healthy. Feel the radiant light growing within you like thousands of brilliant stars blazing from your heart and every cell of your body. Until that radiance of that presence is all around you, extending out to all of your loved ones. Bringing your breath into your heart. And as you breathe out, feel the energy extending out from you as a healing presence. The light within you is an ever-expanding, growing, evolving presence. And it accelerates now that you have acknowledged it. All you have to do is pay some attention to it every day, and it grows and you evolve. Follow these words now and make them your own. Beloved Father, Mother God, I now invite the full God presence to fully come forth in my body, mind, and expression. I feel the love and ecstasy of the God presence. I give my permission for this process to continue day and night, automatically, forever, and unending, through all levels of my evolution. And now through your opened and expanding crown chakra comes a flood of pure light presence, of enlightened consciousness, flowing and spreading through all of your energy meridians, through your whole body, through all of your nerves and cells, welcoming this presence in, the pure light of God, the divine presence coming through your enlightened soul. And give permission. Allow this to happen. Give permission. Let it be. Every part of you is rising to match the frequency of full enlightenment consciousness. Every cell, every molecule, every atom, into the DNA, into every space within your being, from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, all being infused with the codes of pure divinity, pure oneness, as you allow this to happen. Each atom vibrating at a new rate, Their vibration and frequency change to a higher rate as you surrender, as you open and allow. And your entire energy system becomes more and more purified and refined and light. As you open to receive and integrate your highest soul blueprint, give yourself permission to receive the highest safe frequencies from your enlightened soul and God presence. To replace all the patterns of all previous blueprints and structures with perfect patterns of enlightened consciousness. Ask and allow this to happen now. While this is happening, we call in the brotherhood of spiritual healers and those in the light who are experts in releasing and or repairing any damage or limiting consciousness that you might be yet holding from past lives and your history of living within ego consciousness all the way back to the beginning of time and all the way back to your creation. We now give full permission to these healing teams to continue working at an accelerated rate from this moment forward, assisting you to have quantum leaps in your growth and enlightenment until you are completely purified. Now allow your attention to move deeper and deeper into the space of peacefulness. And be with the feelings of peacefulness and the expanse of quiet space. Let yourself merge into the feelings and sensations until you become one with them, merging yourself deeper into the light of awareness. Feel the peace and stillness all around you, and sense the expansion of light and peaceful quiet space all around you. Be thankful for all that you received in this meditative session, including what you received that you may not have even been aware of. Be thankful for that. And now ask this entire session to fully and deeply integrate throughout your body, mind, and being. Allowing yourself to fully integrate the session. As you slowly allow yourself to come back to this present moment, maintaining your connection with the deep place within you, returning to full awareness, to your normal alert and aware self, in present time, right here and right now. Be present with expanded presence in your normal aware state and open your eyes and see the beauty of everything as you stretch out coming all the way back to full normal alertness. Until next time, may you be blessed with love and light always. I'm Jonathan Parker.